Welcome back. The Free State Education Department has warned parents to monitor their children. 6 learners from Tjhebelopele Primary School in Bloemfontein had to receive medical attention for stomach cramps. It's alleged that they consumed energy drinks from sachets they found in an open veld. The incident happened yesterday during school hours, and the Education Department says there are reports that some learners from other schools in the area are also affected. For more on this, we're now joined by Free State Education Department spokesperson Howard Ndaba to tell us more about this incident that took place in his province. Howard, thank you so much for joining us this evening here in SABC News. Perhaps if you can just tell us, when it comes to the discovery of these sachets and which were found by these pupils, how did they stumble upon them?
Well, good evening, Bali. Good evening to our viewers, and thank you for having us. Maybe just to correct it, up to so far, there's no learner who has been hospitalized. Most of the learners were just checked by the EMS people, and then the EMS people did not recommend that they should be hospitalized. But what happened is that yesterday, these learners, as and when they are going to and from school, they took this sachet from the nearby dumping place. It seems to us that there's a shop owner, or spaza shop owner, who have thrown those sachets, which they are called energy drinks. They just stumbled on them, then they took them, and then about 80 learners in grade 6 and 7 class, they've consumed this. They look like they've consumed this sachet. Apparently, it's like a powder. They pour it in the water, then it boil like then they drink it, and we suspect that it does what it is doing when we pour it in the water. Thank you.
And how did teachers soon discover that there was indeed a problem, and it was just not one pupil, but what you are saying, a number of them in those schools?
Well, one learner was showing sign of illness. There was a stomach bug, and then he indicated to the teachers and to the principal that there is this kind of item that learners are consuming. There's one learner who brought many of them. He was even trying to kind of selling them to other learners. Then the principal instructed the teachers to make sure that they search the bags of all these learners in 2 classes, and indeed that we found number of items that which is called the energy drink. As I indicated, that we suspect that in other parts, because in the surrounding areas, there are about 6 other schools, and we know that there's 1 or 2 schools which have been affected, and we suspect that this thing might have been consumed by other learners in other schools, and this is a grave concern to us as a department. That is why we take this opportunity to call on the parents to be vigilant, to call on the community to be vigilant, to also call on these learners to make sure that they don't consume anything that they don't even know.
And do we know, Howard, who dumped these energy drinks or these sachets? And have you reached out to, whichever shop it was, perhaps, that may have dumped these sachets?
We have engaged our sister department, which is Distia. We have also engaged our municipality, which is responsible for environmental health. They will give us an assurance that they will look at it and investigate exactly the origin of these items, because really they are a menace to our society. They are a menace to our learners. As you can see, that fortunately there is no adverse event that has happened, but we must at all times be wary and be careful of what this might have caused. It might have caused any fatality. Fortunately, there's no one who has been hospitalized. We thank God for that. But what we want to put the information out there is to make sure that the parents also become vigilant. And what we're going to do on the 26th of this month, we're going to have an information session, awareness session, where we educate these learners to make sure that whatever they eat, they must also make sure that they look at the expiry date. But we also want to call on all the spaza shops to make sure that whatever they are selling, they must make sure that it has no expiry, it does not, it's still fresh, not only for these learners, but for the community at large.
And of course, Howard, you are saying that there are no children currently in hospital and they're all at home. Do we know how they are coping? You know, how many of these children are you monitoring who had the access to these sachets?
As I indicated, we have discovered that we suspected that about 80 of them have consumed this, but 6 of them were very ill. This morning we met with one parent whose children was seriously ill, and we have discussed with the parents. They've indicated that they will take the learner to the doctor. We'll then receive the report from the parents maybe tomorrow, and we will check with the principal how far is the learner doing. We are really monitoring the situation, but today the situation was calm. The schooling was going as normal.
And will you as a department be conducting any toxicology reports to confirm whether indeed it was these sachets?
Yes, we will work together with our environmental specialists, and we'll also work with our, as I indicated, that we'll also rope in the Department of Health to come and assist us to establish exactly what the link between this sachet and the outbreak of this illness that has happened in the school.
And as the education department in the Free State, what would you say, you have learned from this problem and, which has affected, a number of children, not just from one schools, like you are saying, seems to be a couple of schools?
Well, we have learned a lot. We have, as indicated, is that at all times, our teacher, one of the things that we have learned is that we want to also advise our principal and our schools and even our parents that if the learners bring any item that you want to share with other learners, that need to be, approved by the school authority or by the principal. If, for example, the learner is bringing a cake and you want to share that cake with other learners, it is important that that should be approved by the principal, so that at least there's no surprise if anything happened at the school. That is why we are saying on the 26th of this month, we are going to bring all the stakeholders, including the parents, to make sure that we work together, because this thing is not necessarily a school issue, but it's a societal issue. We need to work together as stakeholders, as communities, as councillors, as municipalities, to make sure that our environment is clean, because it is indeed an environmental issue that has happened, because this thing was brought outside the school to the school. So we need to make sure that we stem it from where it originates, which is outside the school. And that will need that all the stakeholders play a critical role. And we want to thank the school management, the principal, the SGP, for making sure that they act swiftly to make sure that they assist the learners, they call the ambulance, and the ambulance people indeed, they've responded very, very quickly to the situation, and we want to take this opportunity to also thank the Department of Health for responding the way they did.
Howard, thank you so much for your time this evening. That is Howard Ndaba. He is the Free State Education Department spokesperson, just talking about those children who were affected after consuming that energy drink, and which was discovered in an open veld.